What if I told you that some vegetables are actually easier to grow than weeds? No complicated schedules, no constant fertilizing, no spending hours every weekend working in the garden. Just plant them, give them the basics, and watch them explode with growth. The truth is that many gardeners work far harder than they need to. They choose fussy crops that demand constant attention, then wonder why gardening feels like a second job. Meanwhile, experienced gardeners know a secret. A handful of vegetables are so productive, so forgiving, and so low maintenance that they practically grow themselves. Some keep producing for months from a single planting. Some survive heat, drought, and neglect. And others can be harvested again and again without ever needing to be replanted. These are the vegetables that reward busy people. The vegetables that forgive mistakes. The vegetables that keep giving long after most crops have stopped. So whether you're short on time, new to gardening, or simply want the biggest harvest possible with the least amount of effort, this list is for you. Let me know in the comments which of these crops you will be growing. Let's start with one of the most productive crops you can grow in a container. Plant number 1, potatoes. If there were a vegetable designed specifically for busy gardeners, potatoes would be near the top of the list. They're productive, forgiving, and surprisingly easy to grow. In fact, once potatoes are planted, they do most of the work themselves. Unlike many vegetables, potatoes spend their growing season quietly developing underground. There's no need to constantly check for ripe fruits or spend hours maintaining the plants. That's one reason potatoes have become one of the world's most important food crops. For thousands of years, people have relied on them because they produce a large amount of food from a relatively small space. And that same productivity makes them perfect for home gardeners today. Potatoes grow well in garden beds, raised beds, containers, and grow bags, making them suitable for almost any growing space. As the plants grow, their leafy tops help shade the soil, reducing weed growth and helping retain moisture. Less weeding, less watering, less work. And when harvest time finally arrives, the reward can be impressive. A few seed potatoes planted at the beginning of the season can turn into a surprisingly large harvest hidden beneath the soil. For gardeners who want maximum food with minimum effort, potatoes remain one of the easiest and most rewarding vegetables to grow. Plant number 2, green onions. If there were an award for the easiest vegetable in the garden, green onions would be a serious contender. In fact, they're so easy that many people accidentally grow them. Have you ever placed the root ends of store-bought green onions in water and noticed new growth appearing a few days later? That's because green onions are determined to grow. Plant those same roots in a container, and you'll often have an endless supply of fresh harvests. Cut the tops. They grow back. Cut them again. They grow back again. Over and over. This remarkable ability makes green onions one of the most productive vegetables for small spaces. A single container can provide harvests for months. They require very little room, very little maintenance, and very little patience. Unlike many vegetables that need perfect growing conditions, green onions are remarkably forgiving. They tolerate cooler temperatures. They handle partial shade. And they continue producing even when neglected. That's one reason they've remained a staple crop for thousands of years. Ancient civilizations cultivated onions long before modern agriculture existed because they were reliable, useful, and easy to store. Today, green onions remain one of the smartest vegetables a busy gardener can grow. And best of all, they reward you almost immediately. Within weeks, you'll be harvesting fresh green tops for soups, salads, stir-fries, and countless other dishes. For very little effort, that's an incredible return. Plant number 3, pole beans. Some vegetables give you one harvest, and they're done. Pole beans aren't one of them. Plant a few seeds, give them something to climb, and they'll spend the next several months trying to take over your garden. That's one reason experienced gardeners love them. Pole beans are incredibly productive. Unlike bush beans, which tend to produce one large harvest, pole beans keep climbing, flowering, and producing new pods for weeks or even months. The more you harvest, the more they seem to produce. It's almost like the plant refuses to stop. And the best part? They're surprisingly easy to grow. Once the vines find their support structure, they do most of the work themselves. Before long, you'll have a wall of green growth covered in flowers and dangling bean pods. Pole beans also have a hidden superpower. Like other legumes, they help improve soil fertility by working with beneficial bacteria that capture nitrogen from the air. This means they can actually contribute to healthier soil while producing food. Historically, beans have fed civilizations across the globe because they combine nutrition, productivity, and reliability. For busy gardeners, few crops provide such a large return for such a small investment of time. Plant them once, provide a trellis, and prepare to harvest far more beans than you expected. Plant number 4, Swiss chard. If vegetables had a category called Most Underrated, Swiss chard would win every year. Walk through most gardens and you'll find tomatoes. You'll find peppers. You'll find cucumbers. But Swiss chard often gets ignored. That's a mistake, because this may be one of the hardest working vegetables you can grow. Swiss chard has a simple philosophy. Keep picking leaves, and I'll keep making more. Unlike crops that require you to harvest the entire plant, Swiss chard allows you to harvest the outer leaves while the center continues producing fresh growth. That means one planting can provide food for months, sometimes much longer. It's also remarkably tough. Hot weather? No problem. Cool weather? Still growing. A little neglect? Swiss chard barely notices. The colorful stems add beauty to the garden, while the leaves provide a steady source of nutritious greens. Rich in vitamins A, C, and K, Swiss chard has earned a reputation as one of the healthiest leafy vegetables available. But what busy gardeners appreciate most is its consistency. While other vegetables come and go, Swiss chard simply keeps producing. Week after week, month after month, without demanding much in return. Plant number 5, cherry tomatoes. If there is one vegetable that convinces people to fall in love with gardening, it's the cherry tomato. Because nothing prepares you for just how productive these plants can be. At first, they seem harmless. A small seedling, a few leaves, nothing impressive. Then suddenly the plant explodes. Branches stretch in every direction. Flowers appear everywhere. And before you know it, hundreds of tomatoes are ripening at the same time. Some gardeners joke that growing cherry tomatoes is easy. The hard part is figuring out what to do with all of them. Unlike larger tomato varieties that focus on producing fewer fruits, cherry tomatoes seem determined to produce as many as possible. And because the fruits are small, they ripen quickly and continuously throughout the season. That's excellent news for busy gardeners. A few minutes of watering and occasional support are often enough to keep them happy. In return, they provide bowl after bowl of sweet, flavorful harvests. Many modern varieties are also surprisingly disease-resistant and adaptable. Whether grown in containers, raised beds, or traditional gardens, cherry tomatoes remain one of the most rewarding crops a gardener can grow. Plant one healthy cherry tomato, and it might become the hardest working plant in your entire garden. Plant number 6, zucchini. Every gardener eventually learns the same lesson. Never underestimate zucchini. Because one healthy zucchini plant can produce an absurd amount of food. The stories are legendary. Neighbors leaving bags of zucchini on each other's porches. Gardeners desperately searching for new recipes. Families giving away harvests because they simply can't eat everything fast enough. And honestly, those stories are usually true. Zucchini has earned a reputation as one of the most productive vegetables in the world. Once it begins producing, it often keeps going for weeks, sometimes much longer. And unlike many vegetables that demand constant care, zucchini is surprisingly easygoing. Give it sunshine, give it reasonably good soil, keep it watered, and then stand back. The plant does the rest. Large leaves shade the soil, helping retain moisture and reduce weed growth. Bright yellow flowers attract pollinators, and new fruits seem to appear almost overnight. One day they're tiny, the next day they're enormous. For busy gardeners who want maximum harvests from minimal effort, zucchini remains one of the best investments of garden space imaginable. Plant number 7, kale. Some vegetables are delicate. Miss a watering and they start complaining. A little heat arrives and they bolt. A cold snap hits and they're finished. Kale isn't one of those vegetables. Kale is tough. In fact, it's one of the toughest vegetables you can grow. This is one reason gardeners have relied on it for centuries. While many leafy greens struggle during changing weather, kale often keeps producing. It tolerates cool temperatures exceptionally well. Many varieties can even survive frost. Some gardeners swear that kale actually tastes better after cold weather arrives because the leaves become sweeter. But toughness is only part of the story. Kale is also incredibly productive. Like Swiss chard, it allows you to harvest the outer leaves while the center continues growing. That means a single plant can provide harvest after harvest for months. Instead of planting repeatedly throughout the season, you can often keep harvesting from the same plant. And nutritionally, kale is a superstar. It's loaded with vitamins A, C, and K, along with antioxidants and important minerals. No wonder it's become one of the most popular leafy greens in the world. For busy gardeners, kale offers something even more valuable than nutrition: reliability. Plant it, give it basic care, and it just keeps going. Plant number 8, radishes. If patience isn't your strong suit, radishes might become your favorite vegetable. Because while many crops take months to reward your efforts, radishes move at lightning speed. Some varieties can go from seed to harvest in less than a month. Think about that. You plant a seed. A few weeks later, you're harvesting food. That's one of the fastest returns you'll find in gardening. But speed isn't the only reason radishes belong on this list. They're also incredibly easy to grow. They don't demand perfect soil. They don't require complicated care. And because they mature so quickly, they spend less time exposed to many of the problems that affect slower-growing crops. For beginners, radishes provide confidence. For busy gardeners, they provide convenience. And for experienced growers, they provide quick harvests between longer-term crops. Historically, radishes have been cultivated for thousands of years. Ancient Egyptians reportedly grew them alongside onions and garlic. Today, they remain one of the simplest vegetables to grow. Sometimes gardening doesn't have to be complicated. Plant a seed. Wait a few weeks. Harvest. Radishes are proof that growing food can be surprisingly easy. Plant number 9, Malabar spinach. Most leafy greens have a weakness: heat. When temperatures rise, many popular greens stop producing and begin to struggle. Malabar spinach does the opposite. The hotter it gets, the happier it becomes. This fast-growing vine thrives during the exact conditions that cause many other greens to fail. That's what makes it such a valuable plant for busy gardeners, especially in warm climates. Once established, Malabar spinach grows aggressively. The vines climb quickly, new leaves appear constantly, and harvests can continue for months. Unlike traditional spinach, which often bolts during hot weather, Malabar spinach seems to embrace the heat. Its thick, glossy leaves are edible and highly productive. The plant also adds beauty to the garden with its attractive vines and vibrant stems. In many tropical and subtropical regions, Malabar spinach is considered one of the easiest leafy vegetables to grow. Give it something to climb, provide occasional water, and watch it take off. For gardeners who struggle to grow greens during summer, Malabar spinach can feel like a miracle plant. Plant number 10, lettuce. Most people think lettuce belongs in a grocery store. Experienced gardeners know better, because homegrown lettuce can become one of the easiest and most productive crops in the garden. The secret is harvesting it correctly. Many beginners pull up the entire plant when harvesting. Experienced gardeners often use a cut-and-come-again approach. They harvest only the outer leaves. The center keeps growing, and the plant continues producing fresh harvests, again and again and again. This simple method can dramatically increase production while reducing the amount of work required. Lettuce also grows quickly. Many varieties mature far faster than larger vegetables. That means fresh harvests arrive sooner and more often. For container gardeners, lettuce is especially valuable. It doesn't require much space. Several plants can fit comfortably in a single container. And because you're harvesting leaves rather than waiting for large fruits, the rewards start arriving almost immediately. Fresh salads, sandwiches, wraps, and garnishes become available right outside your door, for very little effort. And that's exactly what this list is all about. The truth is, gardening doesn't have to be difficult. You don't need complicated techniques. You don't need expensive equipment. And you certainly don't need to spend every weekend working in the garden. Sometimes the secret is simply choosing the right plants. Sweet potatoes, green onions, pole beans, Swiss chard, cherry tomatoes, zucchini, kale, radishes, Malabar spinach, and lettuce have earned their reputation because they deliver impressive harvests without demanding constant attention. They're productive, they're forgiving, and they're perfect for busy gardeners who want more food and less work. So if you're planning your next garden, try adding a few of these vegetables to the mix. You might be surprised by just how much food they produce and how little effort it takes. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe to Primal Gardening for more gardening tips, productive crops, medicinal plants, and fascinating plant stories. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.